If you have been struggling to backtest your trading strategy correctly, this is the only video that you need. Hello traders, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually backtest on Tradingview without even subscribing to it. And this is a strategy that I personally use the way I backtest on Tradingview to follow the imprint of money. Okay, and I believe that this video is going to expose you to know how to actually backtest without you subscribing to Tradingview. So without further ado, let us get right into the video.
Yeah, you're welcome back, traders. So let us begin to backtest our trading strategy. Okay, so I'm just going to remove all the drawings that I have on this chart. Then from there, we are going to look out for, you know, we are going to use uptrend and downtrend. Okay, so this is how you can actually backtest your trading strategy without even you subscribing to Tradingview. So right now, okay, I think that we should just start from this range here. Okay, so I'm going to take this, this. Okay, so I'm going to start from this level here. So let us start from this level. To backtest your trading strategy, you need to ensure that you are following the imprint of price, how price move in the market. You want to ensure that you know how to mark out your break of structure, your supply and demand, your liquidity zone, and your point of interest, so say. So let us start by this level here. So at some point we can see that price is actually selling down to the downside, right? So since price is selling, this is the point at which sellers lose power to continue the downward movement. So what actually happened right here is a break of structure to the upside. Okay, so you can see this candle actually close. Okay, this candle actually close above this level, so it means that we have a break of structure. Okay, so this is going to be an in-depth session. All right, this is going to be an in-depth session. So what I'm actually teaching you right now is how to mark out your break of structure to the upside. So right now we have our break of structure. That is one break of structure right there. So we have another break of structure right here. So this is how you technically, this is how you technically follow the imprint of price. This is how you build your trading strategy. Because if you don't know the basics, you cannot know the advance. That is just the truth. All right. So right now you can see how I am marking the break of structure. All right. So, and I think I should not forget to tell you that when you are marking your break of structure, you should understand that price will be creating higher highs and higher low. Okay, price will be creating higher highs and higher low. So this is our higher high, okay, and this is our higher low. Okay, so after that we also have a new higher high above here. So, and at the same time we have higher low right here. So this is the structure that I am actually following for you to understand how to mark out your break of structure, because the next high will be higher than the previous high, while the next low will be higher to the previous higher low. Okay, so you can see that this is the strategy that is very important that you know. So you can see that this is the next higher highs and this is the next higher low. Okay, this high is higher than this, while this low is higher than this low. That is the explanation. So let us continue to mark out our our break of structure. So because I will not be writing this higher highs and higher low like that, so I'll just be signifying it. So after this higher low we have another higher high right there, and we have another higher low. So it means that we even have a break of structure around this zone. Okay, so this candle actually closed this high. All right, you can see that. So this is higher high. Now we have another higher low. Price broke through, so it means that we have a break of structure right there. Then where is our next break of structure? Our next break of structure is here. Okay, our next break of structure is this zone. So can you see that? So it means that after we have higher highs right here, after we have higher high right here, we have higher low. Then we also have the next higher high right here. Then this is higher low. Okay, so this is just how you follow the imprint of price. Okay, so let us look out for another break of structure to the upside. So can you see now? This is another break of structure because we have another higher highs and higher low right here, and price broke through this level. Then you see that price once again creates another break of structure to the upside. So you mark it out like this. So when you mark it out like this, now let us see what price is actually doing. You see, this is the climax of trading, or how do I say it? This is the point at which you need to understand what you are doing in the forex market. Now you can see that this is the last break of structure, which means we have higher highs right there, higher highs, and we have the last higher low right there, isn't it? So now this is before I delve into what actually happened right here. Before I delve into that, I want us to actually see how to mark out our break of structure in a downtrend. So let me look for a downtrend price to know, so that we can mark out our break of structure to the downside. All right, so I'm looking for a downtrend. Okay, I'm looking for a downtrend right now. Okay, so good. Now I've seen a downtrend. So this is a downtrend because you can see that price was actually moving up, and at some point price was moving aggressively to the downside. So we can use this zone. Okay, we can use any of this level to mark out our break of structure. So now one thing is that before we start to mark out our break of structure, you need to understand that when price is going in a downtrend, price will not forget a footprint of structure. Price will not forget structure, which simply means that when we see a break of structure to the downside like this, okay, so it means that what it actually means is that we have higher highs, okay, lower highs, okay, then we have lower low. Exactly, we have lower low. So it means that this high is higher than this, or this is lower highs and this is lower low. Now let us just continue to mark out our break of structure so that you can understand what price is actually doing. So look at this zone again. You can see that after price got to this level, after price got to this level right there, price retrace back and move to the downside. So that is to say that we also have a break of structure around that zone. So this is a break of structure, this is another break of structure. So let us continue to map out our break of structure. Okay, so we can see that after that we also have a minor break of structure to the downside here. Okay, so this is another break of structure. So after this break of structure, you can see that price actually move to the downside and reverse up aggressively before it continue this selling momentum. So but I will not explain what actually happened here right now because I want you to actually understand how to mark out your break of structure to the downside. So it's this what actually happened here is that price created okay, So let me just take this, let me take this to the downside. So we can, so this is our lower highs, okay, and this is our lower low, okay. So now what actually happened right there is that when price is creating lower highs and lower low, we don't expect price to actually go above the previous lower high, okay. But in this case we can see that price actually broke this lower highs, which is not supposed to be so. But one thing is that sometimes price react this way. So what we can simply, in a simpler understanding, what we can interpret this movement is that price simply creates another, okay, price creates another lower highs, okay, price created another lower highs, and or probably we can say that price creates another lower highs right here. And where is our break of structure? This is our break of structure. Price broke structure right here. So it means that we have a high here and we have a low right here. Okay. So this is a previous side I forgot to input right there. So you can see this is lower high. Where is the next lower low? This is the next lower low because price has broke this low already. So this is our next low. Okay, this is our next low, and you can see that let us see what price is actually doing here. Okay, so but at some point you know that this is the level that we are. Okay, so but I'm not going to delve right into this uptrend of a thing because what actually happened here is, you know, more deeper than that. Okay, so right now, since I have marked out a break of structure, I want to believe that this is something that you understand, okay, because you see, if you want to know how to trade professionally, you must understand this concept. You must understand how to mark out your break of structure. You must know how to do it during the uptrend and downtrend. So right now, since we have marked out our break of structure to the upside and to the downside, let us delve right into following the imprint of price. So right now, let us delve right into more details about how price actually moves. So let us use these concepts, okay? Or probably I think we should just use this previous markout, okay? So let us use this one. Yeah, let us use this one. So right now, I want you to pay close attention to this because this is very important. If you definitely want to know how to trade price, okay? So this is because you may be wondering, one thing that you need to understand is that price will not keep going in an uptrend forever, okay? Because price actually respects law of gravity, more like my mentor usually say that price respects gravity. And at some point, I because whatever goes up must definitely come down, okay. So price actually respects this concept, and this is what I want to explain to you right there. So this is it. You can see that price was actually moving to the upside, and at some point we see that price come to the downside. Price could not broke this high and price continued to go to the downside. Now what causes this? Now let me explain this in details to you.
All right, guys. So let us continue from where I stopped. All right. So now what I want to explain right now is that, and before then, I want to believe that you now understand how to mark out your break of structure to the downside and to the upside as well. So right now I want to explain how price actually shifts, because this is where most traders don't understand how price actually move from uptrend to downtrend or from downtrend to an uptrend. So I am going to explain how price actually move. Okay. So now we know that we can see that price is actually moving in an uptrend here. And at some point we see that price would not continue to go higher again. Okay. So we can see that price has shifted from buying to selling. Okay, so since price has moved from buying to selling, we want to understand the scenario that happened at this point right there, and that is what I'm going to explain to you. So now follow me. Now, for us to determine how price moved to the downside, considering this movement, okay, we want to consider the last break of structure. Okay, now where is our last break of structure? Our last break of structure is this level right here. This is our last break of structure. And one thing you need to understand is that when we mark out our break of structure, it means that we have higher highs and higher low, right? Then we have another higher highs and higher low. So where is our last higher high and higher low? This is our last higher highs, and this is our last low, our last higher low. Alright, since we have marked out our higher highs and higher low, how do we know what happened that causes price to move aggressively to the downside? Now this is one thing that we need to actually consider a lot. So now we know that this is our last higher low. Now we need to mark out our higher low like this. Okay, we need to mark out our higher low. So which means we can see that price actually creates higher low, a new higher high up here, and this is where buyers fail to move to the upside. Okay, so it means that we have a supply zone around here. We have a supply zone. Okay, we have a supply zone. So hold on, I have to remove this. So now since we have a supply zone, okay, we have a supply zone. Now price actually broke through the previous low. This is what you just need to understand, because if price is going to shift from buying to selling, the last higher low have to be broken before price actually move. And when price got to this level right here and price came all the way down here, it means that there is a market shift at this zone here. So that is what price signifies to us, that there is a market shift that has happened here. So it means that when price broke this low, because this is the last higher low, isn't it? This is the last higher low. So when price broke this low, it means that there is a shift in structure. And from this point right here, we are not going to be looking to buy the market, because price has actually broke through the previous low, and we'll change our bias from buying to selling. Okay, so now what is going to give us confirmation that we should sell price at this point right here? Now we need to wait for a retest. We need to wait for a retest, and that is what you see happen here, because when we see that price actually sell all the way down here, broken through this low. Okay, so when price came all the way down here, price actually find its way back up to this supply zone, because this is the point at which sellers took this is where the point at which seller took power from buyers. Okay, this is at the point whereby sellers took power from buyers. Okay, so this is the point at which they enter the market. And when there is a market shift like this that happen in the market, there is always a retest back to the supply zone. Okay, and you can see that this is the supply zone, right? So and after price came all the way to the supply zone, that is when we can see that price started selling aggressively to the downside. So look at this selling momentum. Look at this selling momentum. Price came all the way here, all the way up here, okay, and price starts selling massively, massively. So it means that price sell all the way from this level, okay, from this level down to this level right here before price continue this upward movement. Okay, so this is just the simple analogy because what I'm teaching you right now is identifying supply and demand. Okay, identifying supply and demand, and it is a very easy concept to understand. Okay, so and the understanding is more like you if price is moving in an uptrend, if you are looking to sell, you must ensure that price broke the last previous higher low. And when you see that price broke the previous higher low, then you are going to wait for a retest to where buyers fail to push the price up. Okay, so and you can see that price started moving to the downside. Okay, price started moving to the downside, and I think I should just let you know all the scenarios that happened there. Okay. One thing that I want you to understand is that you see that after price came all the way to this level here, which created a new lower high, price created a new lower low. Now we expect that price will not break above the previous high, because if price break the previous above high, then it means that price wants to shift from selling to buying at this point in time. Okay, but one thing you will notice is that price did not actually turn to buying trend. It continued to sell downward. Now one thing that actually happened is that when you are marking your break of structure, you must understand that this is a downtrend. You must understand that there is a supply above all break of structure to the downside. Okay, there is a supply zone, and that is what simply happened right here, because where is our last break of structure right here? This is our last break of structure, and when price broke through this structure, it created a new lower low. Price came all the way up here, creates a new lower highs, but because the candle that closed this low is not really strong. Okay, if you look at this place very well, this candle is not really strong. Okay, or I can call this manipulation. Okay, I can also call this manipulation, because what we expect price to do is more like after price came all the way up here, it got to this stage, price should continue moving in a downtrend like this. Okay, but price didn't do that. Okay, but and that is where you need to understand how price move, because what price actually did right here is that price respected this last break of structure supply zone, and you can see price respected this supply zone. Okay, price came all the way down here and came all the way up here and then continue breaking structure. You can see which one the one that I have marked out already. So guys, I want to believe that you understand this concept. So and about what I told you, that price move in supply and demand, you will notice that after price broke this lower low, okay, after price make a break of structure to the downside, what actually happened here? Let us examine what happened here. So let me take a mark so we can really know where we are, right? So I think we should use something like blue. Okay, so this is at the point that price refused to go to continue the selling pressure. Okay, so we can see that price actually continue in an uptrend. Now let me explain what happened right there. Okay, so what actually happened, sorry about that. So what actually happened right there is that we have a new lower low here, right? We have a new lower low. So let me just write that out. A lower low. This is our last lower low. And where is our last lower high? This is our last lower highs. Okay, so this is our last lower highs. This is our last lower highs. So now what price actually did right here is that price retraced all the way back to this supply zone, because you see that we have a minor break of structure. Okay, we have a minor break of structure from this trend here. Okay, this is a, or we call it an internal break of structure. Okay, so what price actually did, so it means that above this structure we have a supply zone area. Okay, so can you see now that after price broke this structure, price came all the way to this supply zone to retest it before it continued this selling movement. But what I want to show you is that you can see that price would not continue to create a new lower low, right? So what price actually did is that price reversed a little bit, price reversed all the way up here. Okay, so what price actually did, if you look at this previous break of structure that I talked about, you see that this supply zone is actually valid, because if we draw this line all the way up here, okay, you can see that price has already respected this supply zone. Now the reason why price actually came all the way up here is that if you look at this zone here, okay, if you look at this zone here, we can see another break of structure. It is just that when price shifts from buying to selling, okay, price was actually creating internal break of structure. Okay, so let me just explain that to you. So now this is it. Price came all the way down here. Okay, price retraced a little bit with this green line. Okay, so after that price broke that level, then price came all the way up here, price reversed a little bit, and it came all the way down here. So um all these internal break of structure, because if I go down to 1 hour now, you will see it clearly. You are going to see it clearly that price actually reversed. So let me so I believe that we can still work with this free plan. Okay, I believe we can still work with it. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that price was creating an internal break of structure. Okay, you can see that this is at the point that the market begin to shift. Okay, so this line is our market shift, then price came all the way up here, and you can see we have a minor an internal break of structure here. Okay, you can see that this is a break of structure. We also have a new break of structure to the downside. Can you see that? And we can see clearly that price actually respected this one, because above this structure we have a supply zone area around that place. So if I extend this to the right, now you see that price actually respected this supply zone instead. Okay, so I think I should just go down to 4 hour again, so that we will not get stuck at this level here. Okay, so okay, so this is it. Okay, so okay, I believe this is what we are working on. Yeah, this is what we are working on. So can you see now, this is another break of structure after this one. You know that when price created this break of structure, price came all the way down, we tested this supply zone of this break of structure. After that, after price broke through this level, price reversed all the way up to the next supply zone, which is the next break of structure above it. And can you see, after that we have a massive selling to the downside. Okay, we have a massive selling to the downside. So this is just how price actually move. This is how price move in the forex market. Price move based on supply and demand. All right, so I want to believe that you understand how price actually move right here. But this is not where we are going to stop, because I would like to actually show you how price move from selling to buying. All right, how price move from selling to buying. So I think that I should use this. No, I'm not going to use this area. So I think I should just use exactly. Oh, this is buying to selling again. Buying to selling. Okay. Um. All right. I think that we should just use another pay. So let us use a USD JP1. You see, these are my favorite pays. Okay, these are my favorite pairs. They are my favorite pairs. So let me just remove these drawings. So what we want to do is we want to look at the bias of selling to buying, right? Selling to buying. Exactly. And this is what I'm actually looking for. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So now let us examine this price movement. Let us examine it. Now we say that we want to understand the scenario that happen when price actually shift from either buying to selling or selling to buying. And on this case, we are looking at the bias of price from changing from selling to buying. All right, so let us analyze this scenario. I told you in the beginning of this video that the first thing that we need to do is that we want to identify our last break of structure. And if you are looking at this is our last break of structure to the downside. So let us mark that out. Now that is our last break of structure, which means we have um, lower highs, and we have lower low right here, right? Now, what is the next thing for us to do? We know that if price is going to change from selling to buying, price have to break the previous high, isn't it? And in this case, it has to break the previous lower high. All right, and I think I should just put an indication here that this is where we started. So right now we have marked out our last break of structure and we have marked out our last lower low. Okay, so one thing that we need to look out for now is that we want to ensure that we want to see price to break through the previous high, which means where is the previous high? This is the previous high. This is the previous high, and this is the point at which sellers lose power and buyers took control of price. So, and in this case, so far buyers has gone above the previous high. It means that there is a shift in structure, which means a market shift. And you know, I told you when in the beginning of this video that when we have a break of structure, we have either we have what is it called, supply zone and demand zone. Okay, so this is our supply zone, and where is our demand zone? This is our demand zone. Okay, this is our demand zone this because this demand zone simply means that this red candle is the last line of defense of sellers to push the price down, and this is at the point that buyers begin to take control of price. And you can see that this candle has failed, so that is why we need to mark out this candle. Okay, that is why we need to mark out this candle right there. So, and if you mark this out, let us just leave it at this range here. Okay, so now let us see what price is doing. Okay, after we have market shift, price was continue moving to the upside, but the rule is that when price is shifting from selling to buying, price have to come back to retest the demand zone. Okay, it have to, as in that is the rule. If you study the market very well, you understand that this is just how pure price movement reacts. Okay, so now let us look at what price did. Can you see? Look at this. Price simply respected this demand zone, because you can see that price created a market shift and price was actually going up, but at some point price came all the way down again to retest this demand zone. Okay, so this is our demand zone. All right, and this is just a proof that when we have a break of structure, we have lower highs and lower low. Okay, these our lower highs, it simply means that this is the point at which sellers lose control of price and buyers take control of price. Okay, and it means that we now have a demand zone. So now what I'm trying to explain is that price will come all the way down again to retest this demand zone where buyers took control of price, and that is where we can look for our buy opportunity, because you know price was actually moving downward. Now the moment we see a market shift, we will not be looking for for selling opportunity again. We are going to be looking for buying opportunity, and you can see this is simply, can you see that a lot of candlestick actually retested this zone, giving us confirmation that price failed to continue the downward movement, and it is at this point that price actually move aggressively to the upside. Can you see this massive movement? So just imagine that you are able to catch this move. Okay, so this is just how pure price move in the forex market. And you see, this also applies to if you are in 1 hour, if you are in 15 minutes, if you are in 5 minutes, depending on the type of trader that you are. Okay, so this is just the sneak peek into how price move in the forex markets. So traders, I believe that after you have watched this video, you have learned a lot. And the one thing that is very important is that you don't just watch video tutorials, you implement. The moment you start to implement, that is when you gain precision. That is when you understand what market is doing. That is when you understand how price move in the market. And I believe that the moment you start to implement this, you are going to be a profitable trader in the long run. Thank you.